Funfair ordinance, the gender fluid, objectum sexual, who is romantically and I presume sexually attracted to roller coasters, threatened to run me off for good if I don't take accountability and disavow Aaron Fechter for his statement on the trans movement. First and foremost, I don't need to be ran off because I'm getting ready for retirement anyway. I've been doing YouTube for 7 years, and I've made this abundantly clear. No one intimidates me. I am unapologetically me. And that was something Travis even remarked on when I called him to agree on a ceasefire. If I'm adamant about something, literally nothing will stop me. You could fire a bullet at me, and the next fucking day I will be in a hospital recording a YouTube video and recording it with the same amount of strength and conviction I'm putting into this video right now. I think my track record as of lately has shown that I have not been exiled. I have not been canceled. I could still make a career out of this channel if I really, really wanted to. I'm just done dealing with these terminally online weirdos, and Funfair right here is a prime example of how social media has ruined our generation. And don't even cry victim, because you are the one who plunged the dagger in my fucking back. I'm actually still being very nice, all things considered. I hope you do get off the internet, and I hope you do get help, but I am still going to defend my position on this. As far as Funfair wanting me to disavow Aaron's take on the trans movement, I'm actually not afraid to say that I agree with him, right? I agree with Aaron. And I'm going to be referencing a recent Twitter post he put out that logically explains his position. Because I think it is important for this civil discourse to happen. I think that the extremists on social media are trying to control the narrative and essentially just bullying and intimidating people that don't repeat the same talking points they want repeated. I am trying to figure out how to explain how I can still love my fans that don't live life the way I do. I do not know where anyone gets the idea that I don't like my trans fans. That's simply rubbish. I have lots of trans fans, as you know, and I open my home and heart to them all. Just because I think the trans movement is a fad, and that very few of the people who call themselves trans are really trans, doesn't mean I don't care about them as much as any other person who loves my work. Your becoming trans doesn't bother me. The best way you can understand this is to think about it this way. I have lots of Christian fans. I respect them and appreciate that they believe what they were taught growing up, as long as they respect me and what I was taught growing up Jewish. And for the most part, that is how we get along. Neither one of us beats the other over the head and says, believe what I believe or I'll hate you. Usually. This trans thing is just a new religion to me. You believe what you want, and I'll believe what I want, and we'll get along just fine. My Christian fans don't expect me to say Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and I want my trans fans to expect me not to accept their beliefs. We just have to get along as people, like each other as people, and bond over our love for the Rock of Fire. Honestly, a very base, rational explanation here, right? I think that there are people that get so heated up over these political issues that they only want to surround themselves with other people that are fucking ride or die for their cause. They are unwilling to shake their hand over the aisle, right? They are unwilling to associate with anyone who has any different belief than they do. And it's ironic because the trans movement was started on the basis of exception. I think demonizing Christians and demonizing conservatives is the opposite of fucking acceptance. And I'm not even I don't even really identify myself with a particular political side. Like, I've always been independent. I've always seen through this fucking bullshit political war. But I do find that I align with a lot of conservative values. And I have this same position on trans people, especially those that have, dedicated themselves to transitioning, to getting the surgery, to committing to this identity. I can be friends with one. I can... If someone comes to me and says they want to identify by a certain pronoun, I have no issue respecting that choice, right? As long as, there's a mutual level of respect here. I think it is a fad, at least for a lot of these people in my generation growing up. I feel like if you took half of these people that fucking pretend to be trans online and you line them up in front of a place that gives the fucking surgeries, at least 75% of them are gonna fucking back out. There's no way they could be that committed to this online identity. I think for a lot of people, they just want the attention that comes with it. I think they just want to check the box and be given this special validation, right? I think it is a case of just wanting to be validated. And there's a lot of people that identify as gender fluid right? One day they'll just magically fucking change genders. And there is nothing that reflects that other than, oh, one day I suddenly like baseball more than I do Barbie dolls. It's like, you know, these fucking stereotypes don't mean anything, right? For decades, tomboys, for example, have existed. There are women that are just naturally into guy things, but that doesn't mean they are transgender. That doesn't mean they were born in the wrong body. And I think that there is a lot of madness surrounding this movement, and it's very damaging, especially towards minors, right? For minors to be taught that there's something wrong with them, that the only way they can be happy is if they get their fucking genitals mutilated, or they assume a completely new identity. And then we have parents that are just intimidated into buying into this narrative. Otherwise, they're taught by this fear-mongering propaganda that their kids are just going to fucking off themselves because they can't handle being the gender they were literally born as, right? I think Aaron Fechter is actually one of the few anchors of sanity in this Rockafire explosion community. And there are people that scoff at that because they like to meme on him as this eccentric, goofy old man. And he does have eccentric qualities. I think he would actually agree with that. Like he's voicing these goofy Rockafire explosion characters like Billy Bob and Looney Bird. I mean, it's even in the name Looney Bird, but he's been on this planet for a few decades. He has life experience. He's watched all these different other people on this planet, like, grow up alongside him, right? If he has an indication that this whole trans movement is a fad based on his own personal life experiences growing up, that is a valid conclusion to reach, based on his own life experiences. I mean, me personally, like, I've never grown up around fucking trans people. I didn't even know the trans movement was a thing until I got online. And even then, I just saw them as, like, furries, right? People that just enjoyed fucking cosplay or whatever. And there have been people that have gotten on my case for thinking that going transgender is a choice. I believe it's a choice, right? Because even though you don't necessarily choose to have the dysphoria, you are 100% in control of how you choose to react to it. You could choose to find confidence in the gender you were born as, right? Which I think is the healthiest, most productive option. Being comfortable in your own skin, or you could choose to take these hormone blockers. You could choose to dress up as the opposite gender. You can choose to go by a completely different name. Everything you do as a result of that dysphoria is a choice, and there can be negative consequences to that choice 100%. Like we've seen families literally get destroyed because the father or the mother is willing to abandon their kids and their spouse to pursue this transgender lifestyle, right? And I'm not saying like that's necessarily the wrong choice to make. Sometimes there are individuals that ultimately will achieve happiness going down this route. But there are cases where it is also destructive and worthy of criticism. I don't think it should be illegal. Like, if you want to chop your dick off, you should 100% have that fucking right as an American, but my God. Okay, Maddie, so do you actually think I'm transphobic?
Who are you asking, me or
you, Maddie? Yeah.
Yeah, he just said. Yeah.
Like, do you actually think I'm transphobic, or did you just say that to Fassi to fire him up?
No, I was kind of like torn up by it for a while. I just didn't want to talk about it.
Okay, but like, do you think I am?
Are you?
No.
Well, that answers your question.
No, it doesn't.
That's that. Okay, that was.
Well, you said no, and I think that I believe that
Okay.
you aren't transphobic. So the answer answers itself.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You don't make sense. You're a fucking bear.
So, do you think he's transphobic?
No, I just said no.
Okay, but I'm
There's
willing
no-
to accept that.